Hey, what's up, guys? I want to talk to you about this Airzeen Robot Vacuum that I have. I guess one thing to point out for you, just in case you don't want to watch the whole video and you just want to know if I think it's a good value. Absolutely, I do think it's a good value. So I'll get into the features and everything else. But yeah, I do recommend it and think it's a good product. All right, so but first of all, it came packed up really nice and neatly. Everything was really tight in there. So inside the box, see there's another big box with their barcode and brand there. So tip it over and get it out. All right, so now you can see the actual packaging for the robot itself. So that was a protective box. Now this is the box that holds the product. So let's flip it open. It's really nice packaging. You know, I get a lot of stuff from Amazon, or sometimes the packaging is questionable, but this seems really nice. So it gives you your care card, robot vacuum cleaner, quick start guide. So everything we'll need to look at later to get it all set up and going. And then on the back here, we have all of the app connection instructions. So get into that at another point. That's what you have up top. And then under that, you have your cleaning, effortless cleaning, endless joy. So it looks like just a booklet from them. See what's in it. So your user manual, maybe a thank you card or warranty card, not sure, but so there's your user manual. All right, so now we're getting into the contents of the vacuum. So this is the mopping pad. Another layer of styrofoam. And let's see, is this part the vacuum? Oh, this is packed in here really nice. This thing's really heavy. It's a lot heavier than I expected. Oh man, that looks really nice. That is a really nice, clean, sleek look to it. I love that. Has some packing foam in here to keep it safe. So we'll get into pulling that out in a little bit too. So I set that down. And then here we have sweeping bristles. So you get two of those that have to be connected to the bottom. And this right here is your filter, and we have I'm assuming this is a cleaning brush, and it has a little knife thing kind of on the end there. I'm not sure exactly what that's for yet, but got your cleaning brush. I assume this is to scrape out and brush out all of dirt, dust, and everything from there. Set that down for now. And what else way deep down here in this box? All right, so this guy here is going to be your housing station. So let's see, let me get this box out of our way. Really nice up close look at this station. This has your charging ports on here, so because this thing will automatically home itself and charge. See if you can see kind of this rubber here. I assume that's where it connects to empty out the reservoir tank and possibly to refill. I'll check into that more also. Protective film. Wow, this thing just looks really nice, guys. I'm really impressed with this so far. Now let's see what all we have tucked down in here. So I didn't realize that this actually has vacuum bags in it, as opposed to like some of the cheaper models that I've looked at that have just kind of the plastic tank inside. This has actual bags. It also comes with two additional mop pads. So one gets dirty, you can go wash it and you have another one to replace it with. So that's really cool. So it comes pre-installed actually with this dust bag in it. So let me show you quickly there. It's cool that it has a nice rubber seal, or maybe some type of foam. Maybe it's not rubber, like a foam seal there, so that you can insert it. It just pushes it down into this slot to lock it in place. Then it also has this on here. I'm not totally sure yet what that's for. So after we get into it more, I have to figure that out. All right, guys, so here we go. You can see all of the stuff that it comes with. The Airzeen vacuum, which again, this thing just looks really nice. I'm impressed. The dust bags that it comes with. So one is already installed in the housing here. The other one's separate, so you can use that as a replacement. Then you have your mop pad and mop pad, I don't know what you want to call it, like baffler connector for your vacuum. Two additional pads. Then your two bristle sweepers, your like pre-filter and brush cleaner. So it comes with a lot of really cool stuff. Everything feels really solid. I'm super impressed so far. I can't wait to actually get everything set up and try it and get it going. Now that we can see what everything is, let's go ahead and get started with setting everything up. First step, we'll go and grab that massive quick start guide that they provided with it. Here it is, massive quick start guide. Simple steps, tell us everything we need to do. So let me set this down and walk through it step by step. First thing is to set the robot on a flat surface, then remove all of these packing materials out of it. So let's pull those out. We only have a few, just the 3 foam strips. Next, we want to go ahead and install our sweeper bristle. So to do that, carefully flip it over, and we're going to lay it down, but just so we can see, let me figure out where these bristles go. You only have to install one of the bristles, so the other one must be a spare, I assume. I made the assumption that it had 2 slots for the bristles, but there's only one. Grab the one bristle. Let me set it down and push it in place. Okay, there it is. All right, bam. So we got that. Perfect. Next step, position charging base. Place the charging base on a flat surface up against the wall. All right, we'll go ahead and do that. Next step is to remove all the protective film. Well, I already did that during the unboxing, so done there. And it says once you have the base in place, leave it there and keep it out of direct sunlight. I'm gonna make the assumption that you don't have to leave it in the same spot forever. I don't think you're married to that particular choice. So it does have some guides on how far you need to keep things away from the side and how much space you need in front of the unit. So it's a 1/2 meter from either side and 1.2 meters away from the front of it. So you don't want any of those spaces blocked. And then of course the back of it is up against the wall. Okay, so next step is to remove this dust bin and water tank. So another mistake I made while doing the unboxing is I said that it had just these dust bags here and it didn't have a separate tank, but it turns out this is actually a dual tank, and this is even more impressive than I thought. So this dual tank, when you have a look at it, it has one spot here that traps all the dust. The top part here's like your pre-filter, so it pulls everything in there, and then has your dust bin where it sucks in at the bottom here. So it sucks in all the dirt, catches it in this tank, and then actually this is, I call it a pre-filter, but it's more of an exhaust type filter, so it catches even smaller pieces of dust and particles that's stuck in there. And then it's also a combined water tank, so you can see it has this tab here that we're about to go fill up in a second. So you fill this up with water. So I'm gonna go do that. Oh, forgot to mention, so what I said I was wrong about. This dust bin is where it collects dust. This is what, so these dust bags actually go into the station, the charging station, and it auto empties. So that's really cool, and I didn't realize it did that. So as opposed to filling up this little bin here, it actually will go to the housing station and empty it for you into this. So I'm really excited to get to it and see how that works. Now, let's go ahead and fill up the water tank. And I'm back. So we got it filled with water, and we just go ahead and slide it right back into place. Snaps, and that's it. So there we go. We're good to go there. All right, so now I'm gonna go take this charging base, put it up against the wall, take my power cord, plug it in, and then come back and finish setting up the vacuum. And you know what, guys? I just realized that the instruction quick start guide didn't actually tell us to install the mop pad, so not even mentioned. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this back over. Hopefully it won't leak. Looks like we got a little bit of water, that's all right. So see, this has these 2 pegs and a clip, so it actually attaches, it looks like, right to the bottom of the water tank here. So grab that, line up those pegs, and it snaps in place. So bam, we have our mop pad hooked up now. Next step for me, it says a couple things, but I want to make sure that I get the battery fully charged. So I'm gonna go ahead, put it on the charger, and then let it fully charge. And then while it's charging, I'm gonna start setting up the app. So now that we have the robot on the charger and getting ready for use, we can go ahead and start setting up the app. So first thing to do, scan this QR code. I'll do that. So once you scan the QR code, this is what you should see. I've been using it for about a week or so now. For about 3 days, I was completely obsessed with it. playing with all the different functions and everything so I could do a good review on it and let you know everything about it. So let's talk about it. There's only a couple things that I had as downsides for it, and I'll walk through those too. When I got it, I didn't realize that it had auto suction to auto empty. So empties the tank from the vacuum into this charging base here to a bag that's inside of here. So you can go probably for weeks without having to actually change or empty the bag out. One of the things that I really love about this too, compared to other robot vacuums, like one that I have, it doesn't have the Lidar. So this has the Lidar camera up top, so that thing spins and it just does a really good job at mapping out your house. When I first got it and set it all up, I plugged it in here, went in and set up the app and all the controls and just set it to map room. And I couldn't believe how easy it just kind of took off and drove around my house and mapped out everything pretty detailed. And then after you get everything mapped out, you can set up everything in zones, and I'll show you in the app here how to set it up. But you can set out your house in different zones. You can set it up for different times, or you can block off I don't remember what to say, like no-go zones if there's anywhere where you don't want it to mop or vacuum at all. It has really cool settings and features there, probably way more, even more than I've had a chance to figure out yet. But comparing this to a lot of the more expensive options, you get approximately the same stuff. I mean, I've looked at ones that were 2-3 times the cost of this one, and just comparing them, this seems like it does everything. Again, just that LiDAR mapping feature is really amazing to me. So it maps everything out, and if you set something in the middle of your floor, it will see it and then just kind of contour or drive around it to avoid it. So it's much better at avoiding and not hitting things that it shouldn't be hitting that weren't there when you initially mapped it out. One thing that I was mentioning that I did have a problem with this one compared to one of the cheaper vacuums that I have is the profile of it is a little bit taller because of this LiDAR. So I actually have scratches on the top of it because it was trying to go under my couch. So the LiDAR part that it's scanning for also goes under the couch, but the cover doesn't quite fit under the couch. So it can't see why it's getting stuck. So it runs into my couch and kind of just spins there for a minute and tries to figure out what's happening. It's kind of funny because it goes under the couch and it pushes and tries to drive for a minute, and then it backs out and like shakes back and forth like it's shaking its head no, like it didn't work. Overall, I don't count on it getting under the couch. So just check that out for yourself. And honestly, I really feel like that's the only downside of this thing. I mean, it sweeps, mops, and vacuums. It has the separate cartridge tanks for your water and your dust bin. It has just 3 different mop pads. So that's one thing. They do tend to get musty after you leave them on for a couple of days, so you don't want to mop your floors with musty water. So I would say probably change your mop pads. Now, maybe every 2 to 3 days. It comes with 3 different pads. The app, it does have like a service life indicator of all of the things in there, your bristle brushers and all the stuff. So that has really cool things that you can check out. For the price, I think it's really good. You can spend 2 or 3 times as much, and I think probably get the equivalent thing. If you don't need the LiDAR mapping, then you could probably go with a cheaper model, but I really love this one personally. It's just really good for anybody who has lots of things that you might have sitting around or weird spaces, contours and stuff. It goes really efficient. It maps out your room, kind of does the edging, and then efficiently goes back and forth and make sure it doesn't overdo too much mopping or vacuuming in redundant spots. I can't say enough good things about it. I definitely recommend it. Absolutely love this vacuum.